All right, so let's talk about fast track trading. Why fast track is no longer with us, and some of the red flags, and actually why I never opened up an account with them. So a couple different things, but the main thing is that whenever a prop firm is coming into the space, right, and they're trying to create new rules or rules that seem easily exploitable, right, you have to be careful with that, because at the end of the day, these are all still businesses, and if the business isn't making money, then the business isn't going to last, right? And so there's this thing of, there's really three ways I've seen prop firms try to make money, right? They make money off people failing evaluations and failing once they get into funded, right? And then they'll also they'll make money off of putting somebody on live and taking a percentage, and then they also make money if they choose to, say, copy traders' trades and for their own personal account, or somehow aggregate data to then identify, or to trade up their own account. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is because we have seen a prop firm in the past that did that. It was copying one trader very, very heavily, and that one trader kind of just went for like a YOLO day. 8 months after being profitable for 8 months in a row, lost all his accounts, but it was because he was going on vacation. He just took a big payout, but on their back end, they were massively copying his account and basically lost like millions of dollars because of him. And so there is, and that was Forex, not futures, by the way. But my point is that that's not good risk management, right? They never told the trader that. So there's a lot of different ways a prop firm can make money, but it's hard to get somebody into live, because in order for you to get somebody into a live account and you're risking capital, put them there. Typically, prop firms in the past have wanted to see like 5 to 8 months of successful trading before ever considering putting somebody in live. Now, some prop firms recently have been putting people into live quicker, right? Blue Sky puts people into prop quicker, right? But their risk is only about $1,200 per account then. And so by putting people in live, it does limit their risk exposure. Sometimes can. But yeah, there's different strategies about this. But the one thing that Fast Track had, because they had Ed-Step funding, they don't have data on traders, which is kind of scary, right? So to know who's successful, who's not. So putting them into a live is kind of iffy, right? But the other thing was that they completely changed the rules. So instead of having like a daily, a max daily, percent that you can have, they just said 20% and you're good, right? So this caused people to be able to run up accounts, right? And then flip $1 for a day and get payouts. Now, I have a friend that did something very similar with Fast Track. He got $90,000. He ran it up in one day. It was flipping for $1. Got made to 20%. Request to withdraw, and he actually was paid out $95,000. Now, there was a lot of people doing this. If you're paying attention to their Discord, they caught on that people were doing this a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. But they already had paid out millions of dollars at this point. And so, I think they kind of caught on like, oh, hey, people are just running up and flipping, right, to meet the 20%. Like, they have to do something to change that, right? I understand that. I get that. But, then they're proactively doing it to account. So if you were one of these people that, say, ran up, or like, let's say that you ran up, I don't know, $30,000 maybe, right? And then, you ran up in a couple different days, right? And you're like barely didn't meet it, but that 20% or a consistency rule, they're proactively going back and like, trying to make people, now have to either trade more to get their payouts or just get refunds. Now, there's problems with that. It's like now you're proactively enforcing rules on approved payouts. It was a mess. And so one of the things that was alarming to me with Fast Track is that it seemed like too good to be true. Like a lot. I mean, just the fact that they were allowing people to run up like 90 grand on accounts and then flip $1 a day and allow people to take out payouts and didn't catch on to that sooner. Like it took weeks and weeks for them to figure out that they need to stop people from doing this was crazy to me. Like I know just from being in the prop firm space that this is the thing that has been exploited before in the past, right? And it's something that no prop firm can really allow because, again, you can exploit it and you can have a really killer day and then just coast and get massive payouts, right? The other thing that I thought was really interesting is how quick you could get payouts. 5 days. I can have 5 good days in a row, especially if I'm willing to accept a little bit of drawdown. So this gets into like DCA, right? Like you could, if you only need 5 days of trading, right? The chances of you being able to DCA, right, into trades, and just like as the trade's going against you, that you're just adding into the position, waiting for a pullback, right, is extremely likely. Like you're going to be able to pull that off for 5 days in a row. And if you don't, right, let's just say you're not able to pull it off for, you say you fail, right? Statistically, right, if you do it another 5 days, it should work. There's days that I wouldn't do it, like right after the election, right? Because those are known to be rally days. So I wouldn't be trying to short as we are making all-time highs. It's never a good idea. But typically this DCA type of method will work, in a short time period window, and you can extrapolate multiple payouts by doing this, especially because you only have to trade 5 days. So that is a thing with fast track, and that was another alarming thing. So now it's like we have like you can run up an account and just flip it. You can DCA for 5 days and get a payout, right? There's other things too that would work, right? Like, I mean, there's guys that were just like doing this VWAP. It's like I would say it's a VWAP grid system. And it works until it doesn't. Again, it's kind of very similar. But yeah, I mean, getting that to work for like 5 days. So it's allowed a lot of these different strategies that typically wouldn't work on a lot of prop firms to all of a sudden work. And so, yeah, so it was unfortunate. And so now you had all these traders that, figured out they could exploit these rules, right, in the beginning, right? And those people got paid out, right? The first couple of weeks, all those people got paid out, right? But then the people that tried to catch on, the tail end of this are probably going to lose their money. They're saying that you can request a refund, right? First off, that's probably just for legality reasons. When they say that you can request a refund, they're going to run out of money probably. They probably don't have that much money to refund, but they have to refund as much as they can, just so they don't go to jail, first off. But yeah, so I mean, not everybody's probably going to be able to get paid back. So the quicker you can get in your request, the better, probably. And yeah, that's kind of the moral of the story here. Is I think when things are too good to be true, or you see a way of exploiting a prop firm like this, right, that it should be a red flag. And you can trade it, and I would personally trade it probably trying to exploit, right? I would trade it trying to exploit the prop firm, or exploit, their rules. And when I say exploit, I'm not saying like you're trying to, do something that's kind of against the rules. Like they had clear guidelines and you came up with a strategy to stay within their guidelines, right? But almost guarantees you money, guarantees that you'll make money with them. So, the fact that these shorter, strategies work in this type of environment is concerning, because now the question is, can they survive long enough to put people on live and maybe potentially try to make money with people going live, or make enough money from people failing evaluations. So that was kind of the thing. And I think that the big red flag here is that the CEO just seemed to be not very knowledgeable of the prop firm space. And that was the other weird big red flag. Like, there were things that he would say that would make me question a lot of things, right? Like, he would say that like one of the ways that they were making money is that they were aggregating all the trader data and then making their own personal trades. And that was a big part of their income. He said this in a Discord call, something to that extent. And other people were in there. I should have recorded it, so don't quote me exactly what he said, but he basically said, like, this is one of the ways that we make money. That's a big red flag, right? I mean, that's a big red flag, I think, especially if they hint or make it sound like it's a significant amount of their income. I think some prop firms, I'm sure, do something similar, right? Top Step has their house account, right? But I don't think they're relying on that being a main source of income, right? We have seen other Forex firms blow up because of this before in the past, right? The other thing was that I started, some people started doing some digging on Facebook and stuff, right? And people started posting stuff of, like, when it seems like Scott got into trading potentially, right? And people were able to find, like, his first couple posts and, like, his first time getting a Top Step Express account only being in the end of 2013. 2023, which means, like, this is just the Top Step post, but it was concerning because it's like, has this guy not been trading for that long, right? If this is his first time ever trading a Top Step Express account, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if that's a bad thing. But if, like, this is his first time ever trading on prop, was only in 2023, that makes me concerned, right? Because it shows that he probably doesn't have a lot of experience inside the prop space. Now, this is just me guessing, speculating, right? But there are other things that he would say, right? That was just like, when it came to, he would say things that would make me question whether or not he had much experience in the prop firm space at all, just because of, like, some of the rules that they would put in place and some of the structure, how they were doing their payouts. It didn't seem very well handled, right? We have seen other prop firms, right, that eventually did fail, right, have better rules and better systems in place. It kind of just seemed like very put together very quickly with, like, not a lot of due diligence maybe in the space, right? I'm not sure how they raised capital. I don't know how much money they did raise. I know that Scott showed some statements according, I think on Kelly, YouTuber called Kelly's channel, Kelly Trade or something. I think that's where it was posted, to show that they weren't insolvent, right? That they had money. And now I want to go back and look at that because I'm kind of curious on how much money they had and how much money they were paying out. And how much money did they owe to traders and stuff like this. But the problem is too, is like, once you start hearing rumors of a new prop firm changing their rules and starting to fail, right, that you have to be really, really careful, because it's kind of like, what's the best thing that I could probably describe it like? It's like a company that's probably going to go under. Oh, well, there's a computer company right now, right? And they aren't paying their employees. They things are going really bad. It's called EK Water Blocks. That I don't know everything about it, but it's like any company that stops paying their employees and owes a bunch of money to manufacturers and maybe debts and stuff, right? You're seeing the signs of a failing company, and then once it becomes public knowledge, all of a sudden people aren't buying their stuff anymore, right? And so the problem is once they started changing the rules and stuff, I'm sure that fast track sales dropped significantly, because one of the most attractive things was their 5-day payout structure, right? They can't, like, to me, they can't get rid of the 5-day payout structure. That was the whole reason why people came over there, right? And so you could change the rules and maybe make the rules a little bit better, right? But the 5-day was like the big thing that was like, hey, like this is worth it over other firms just because we can get a payout quickly. And when they announced that they were going to take that away and make all these other rule changes, it all of a sudden made nobody want to trade with them. So it's like they're bleeding money and they're losing customers at the same time. And that's a devastating combination, right? So whenever you see that, you kind of have to be worried a little bit. So, and be careful. And again, this is why, if you're trading with a prop firm, right, that you don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? And definitely don't invest more than you're willing to lose, So if you're not willing to lose $2,000, don't buy $2,000 worth of accounts, right? If that prop firm ended tomorrow, claimed bankruptcy, you might not get that money back. And especially with newer firms, much more likely that this is going to happen, especially a firm that has drama around it, right? So all that to say, pick your poison, right? Of what prop firm you want to trade with, right? But you got to be careful. As much as I want to sit here and recommend, like, oh, trade with Apex, trade with My Funded Futures, trade with Blue Sky, right? The reality of it is that any of those could file bankruptcy and close their door and not exist anymore at any point. And I think you have to be careful of that, right? And again, this is just why it's like, once you're in profit from prop trading, I highly recommend that you try to just trade with the profits that you already made, right? And that you don't overextend yourself, right? You don't want to be in a situation now where people have invested a couple $1,000s with Fast Track and then they're not going to ever get that money back. So that's kind of just like my 17-minute rant on trying to encourage people to be careful when trading in the prop firm space, right? And especially with these newer firms that are popping up right now, right? And just being aware that, things can go bad for them and they could cease to exist. So that's it for this video. Make sure you guys like, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.